Welcome to Learning Reaper. I am your host, X.E.L.O. And today we'll be going over FL 21 versus Reaper 6.7. So a lot of updates has been done to FL Studio, so I'm going to be highlighting most of the ones that a lot of people are talking about and are really excited about inside of FL Studio and comparing them to Reaper. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start with FL Studio. One of the big things that they added was the option to customize FL Studio. And as you see, I have here one of my custom themes that I created. If you do want to get this theme, I do have it in my Discord. So my Discord link is below. So you go to my Discord, under my free stuff, I have 2 themes that I created for FL Studio 21. So you can definitely check it out, download it, it's free. You want to go to options, you want to go to theme settings. This one is called the blue ghost, and this one is called blue darkness. As you see, everything is blue and very dark, but I'll stay with the ghost. I'm going to go to the default one. And as you see here, there's not many settings or knobs or anything. You could change this to a light mode. It'll just brighten up like certain things on the track itself. And you can use the note colors for the actual automation clips and the notes. So I think that's pretty cool. So you can change like your hue, change the different colors here, give it different tints, your saturation. So all these things are really easy to use, make them lighter or darker. I think that's a really nice option as well. And you have your meters and all this stuff down here. I think it's a very good update for FL Studio, but let's jump into Reaper and show you how to do the same thing in Reaper. All right, so here we are in Reaper, and this is the piece theme. I have some updates that I've done to this piece theme, but it's really simple to do inside of Reaper. So you go to options, you can go to themes, and it has this option here that says theme adjuster color controls. So here are your global settings for any theme that you have inside of Reaper. So if I wanted to change, like say this color right here, these effects, I can move this over and change them to another color. Let's see, if I want to leave it red, I can have it red, and as you see, it changes a couple of other things over here, which is pretty cool. You can change your highlights. This is your highlights here. So you can make them darker or lighter. You can change your midtones, make them brighter or darker, just like you can in the FL one. Really nice, easy features to use in both of these DAWs. But when it comes to customization, I mean, you have to understand that Reaper is the champ. As you see, this is a totally different theme from what actually comes with Reaper. So the default would be this. This is the default for Reaper. I'm not a fan of it myself either, but I know. But there's so many other ones you can use. You can go into your themes and you can download a whole bunch of free themes that'll actually work inside of Reaper. This one is a Logic type theme. And here's a theme that's kind of like Cakewalk, which is another DAW that I use. This is the power of Reaper when it comes to themes and customization. It's like second to none. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So in all actuality, I would have to give this one to Reaper for the themes. All right, NFL, there's another feature that a lot of people talk about. It's the option to save. So I'm gonna go with file settings. So under file settings, you have this option to backup. You can set it to every minute before any risky operations. They have that option on here now, which they didn't have on here before, but I like to leave mine at least on 5 minutes. And if you are looking for the file, you can just go right here to the file, that's the user data folder, an image line to actually find your backup. It'll back it up even if you don't have it saved, which is really cool. So we can go into Reaper and show you how to do that in Reaper. All right, so in Reaper, you want to go to options, you want to go to your preferences. Inside preferences, you want to go to project. So once you're on project, you'll have some options on here. So you can save your references, path names. You can keep multiple versions if you want to. You can keep your timestamp backup, and you can even keep your undos. So this means if you're in a project and you didn't like what you did and you already saved it, you can still go back and undo those changes that you made. I just keep it on every 5 minutes. And when not recording, you can actually change this to any time, or you can do when stopped. And I have mine set to a different directory. So once you back up a file and Reaper to save, it gives you an option for your project, and you can actually add other directories under that project as well, which I've done here. And I call mine's automatic backups is what I call mine's, right? And then you just hit apply and save, and now you have it backed up inside of Reaper. I will have to give a slight advantage to Reaper on this one, just because you get that option to keep doing your undos if you want to inside of your backup. I think that's amazing, but let's continue on. I hear a lot of people talking about the option to add tracks, and they made it a lot easier and for tracks to actually go down into the mixer. So let me show you that real quickly. All right, so if you're in your arranger section, you have this little plus sign right here in the middle. And if you click on it, it gives you an option for all of your VSTs. So you can add like your FL keys, and you'll get a little bar made for you. It'll also pull up the actual instrument or device, and it also sends it to the mixer on the next channel. Whatever the next channel is where it'll actually send it. I think that's a really good thing that they did. And if you hit, again, you can just do another, let's do flex. So you have a flex there. See, it'll automatically send it to track 2. It automatically gives you 1 bar, and it also sends it automatically to the mixer, which is definitely something that was an upgrade for FL, at least to me it was, right? And if you want to add like another line, you can just right click on this option and it'll do an input. So now you have an option to do your mic line in really quickly. You can go here and choose which insert you want, insert left or right, or whatever interface you have. It'll be a little bit different. This is your monitoring option here, this little mic thing in the middle here, so you can actually hear your monitoring. And this is your radio button to do your recording. And as you see, it does the recording down here as well. So this is a real quick way to set up your mic in FL Studio. I think this is a really good addition for them as well. So let's go into Reaper. All right, so in Reaper, to add a track, you just double click. So I have my track on here, and you can actually set it up to where it'll default automatically arm your recording. You don't have to have it on there, but you can. And I also have mine for MIDI overdub, just because I like to overdub by MIDI. It's pretty much ready to record. And if I want to see my inputs, you have an option right here for input. And I can change, from mono to stereo, or I can do input none. Right here inside of this section. So like I said, just to add a track, you just double click and you can add another one. If you want to do multiple tracks, you can right click in this track area, and it gives you an option here that says insert multiple tracks. And then it's going to ask you how many tracks you want to. FL doesn't have that option yet, at least not that I've seen. So you can't just add a whole bunch of tracks. And I like the fact that my mixer is a lot cleaner. It's not just, hundreds of tracks just sitting down there. You can get stuff lost in there really easy. All right, and if you want to add an instrument, you can just right click in here and go to virtual instruments, and you can just choose an instrument, whatever one you want. Let's just do labs for right now. Right, and you get an option to pull up labs inside of Reaper. Additional to adding multiple tracks at one time, you also get an option to do some templates. So you can do a track template and actually create templates of your own. And if you wanted to make like a boom bap kit, you'll set up a boom bap kit, and I have it set up to where I can add this at any time or anywhere inside of my track, which is a great time saver instead of trying to do it one by one. And that is one of the flaws, is it doesn't have a multi-add, and you can only do them one by one inside of FL21. So I have to give the edge to Reaper on this one as well. All right, and back in FL, a lot of people have been talking about the browser features that they've added inside of the browser for FL21. So let's take a look at that. It gives you some options for you have your project, whatever's in your current project. It gives you an option for some plugins, and it has libraries. So if you have a whole bunch of libraries for Flex, they'll be like in this section here. And you have your option for starred items as well. And down here below, you have an option for tags. So if you click on tags, You'll be able to star stuff, go to your plugins, VSTs or VST3s right from here really quickly. You have an option to search down here now, which is a lot better than it was before. So if you hit, let's say big kick, right? So it'll look up everything that's inside of FL that you have linked. So if you have a whole bunch of files or folders linked inside of FL, it'll look through all of those folders at once, which is really cool. So these are all the ones that have a big kick. And if you play one, now you actually have the option to see the audio right down here, which is really cool. I think that's a good feature that they added in here. And you get an option to play it from right here as well. It tells you what the hertz are and what bit rate the actual sample is as well. All right, so I just hit this guitar loop. So it doesn't play all the way through if you just play it from here. See, it'll still stops when you do it from just picking a regular sample. But if you go down here, you can actually play it just by clicking inside here. So if you click here, it'll start over from the beginning. If you right click, it'll start wherever you right click for the section down here. I think that's pretty cool. And this is the volume for anything that you actually play inside this little wave section. But I think it has a lot more growing to do to actually be really, really effective. All right, and one of the things I did notice when you're actually in here is you can't hit the star if it's over the line. You have to right click on it and then go down to favorite it. And then you'll add the star there, as you see. It's not much, it's nothing, serious, but it's just kind of weird that it won't let you put the star. I guess that's a glitch that they may have to work on, because even if you stretch this out, it doesn't really, you have to pull it all the way out in order to get to the star. And most people don't want to do that. At least I don't. All right, so let's take a look at Reaper. All right, so looking at the Reaper browser, you have a whole bunch of options here. And there's a whole bunch of things you see on the screen and a whole bunch of things you don't see on the screen. So I'm gonna kind of start at the top. So you have this option to, this is how you insert it into a track. This is your auto play, so it'll automatically play once you hit on a sample. All right, so this option here is for your start of your bars. So if you're playing tracks already and you just want to hit a sample, it'll start that sample at the beginning of the bar. It won't just start automatically. Unless you want it to, then you can take this off. And here, it'll give you the option to detect the pitch of any sample that you put in here, if it's readable. Not all samples are actually readable for notes. So it should be able to detect the pitch if it's something simple like the guitar. And this will show you the information of whatever you have inside of the media section. And this will make the track the tempo of your project. So whatever your project tempo is, it'll automatically sync up with this option here. You can do it 2 times as fast, and this is half-time speed. And when you're actually changing the pitch of any of your sounds, this will automatically change them. It will make sure it preserves the pitch of your actual sounds that you're using inside of this. All right. And so this button down here, this last one, will give you an option to undock this from the docking station. So if you undock it, it'll be a free floating media explorer. You can expand it out if you want to. You have a whole bunch of different options up here, and the list goes on and on for this right here. And you can do favorites like you can in FL. You can do, it actually marks whatever samples you've actually played. So whatever in this project that you played, it will show a little dot here showing you that it's played. You can add a custom tag. So let's go inside this one. Let's just do hats, right? So if I wanted to name a custom tag, I can double click in here and name it. All right, so now I have it saved as Fave Hat. And if I want to ever look up a custom tag, I can just do that by clicking on the custom tags, and it'll find whatever I have as a custom tag in here, which is really cool. And as you see, it marked that I played this sample and I played this sample. So anytime you hit a sample, it'll tell you that you played it in a market. You can even mark it as a favorite by double clicking on this line. And now you have that as a favorite as well. And you can take off the loop if you want to. You have an option to play, pause, stop. You have your pitch, you have your rate, you have your volume. This tells you all the stuff about the sample itself, all the metadata that it has on there. So yeah, I think this is like truly amazing. And just like in FL, you get to actually see the sample itself. The difference in here to me is that you can actually edit your sample. So you don't have to play the whole sample. It'll just play whatever you have highlighted. You can cut it to be just that little section there. And this is all right here inside the Explorer. And then you also get the option to add little shortcuts in here. So you can rename your shortcuts, remove a shortcut, create a subfolder. You can do all that right here in this browser. So I think both of them have a very great search engine, but I have to give the edge to Reaper on this one just because of all the other features that it has. You have an option to edit the audio right inside of the browser. You get to play the browser. You get to see the WAV file. You get to change your pitch. You get to change it to the tempo of your track, and you can double time it or half time it. You can get to see what notes are actually being played inside of it as well. I mean, it's just on another level. All right, and another option that FL just added was the option to pull more than one track in at a time. So if you have, like, let's say this cymatic guitar, right? I want all 3 of these, so I'm gonna hold down Shift and grab all of them, and I can drag them straight into the playlist. But I like this feature. It does help out a lot if you had a whole bunch of drums or something you wanted to pull in there. You can just drag it one time into your playlist, and that does help out a lot. So let's see if we can do that in Reaper. All right, so in Reaper, I'm using the same cymatic loops. And what I want to do is turn off tempo match. So once you drag more than one, you can just click and drag over all of them, and you'll be able to pull any files into Reaper this way. It's really simple. So you can make it as a single track, so it'll add on to the end of each track, or you can do a separate track. So let's do separate. All right, and as you see, it did the same thing as FL and made them all the same exact length. But it does go to show that you can do this inside of Reaper, as well as you can do this inside of FL Studio as well. All right, so this one I will consider a draw. It's just a feature to actually drag more than one thing from your browser into your playlist. And both of them can do that fairly well and easy. All right, so back in FL, what I'm gonna do is delete these other ones. I'm just gonna keep one of them. All right, so both of those are deleted off of here. So what I wanna do is actually stretch this and bring it down. What I don't necessarily like about it is you have to use like this stretch marker here, this little double arrow to stretch. Otherwise, you can't stretch the audio in any way or form, or you just be editing the audio itself. So if I try to pull it out, as you see, it just extends it out. So if you want to stretch, you have to actually hit on this stretch icon, and then you can stretch your audio out or in. I'm going to try to do it into about 16 bars, but as you see, it doesn't really line up. It's still going over and it's not snapping to the way you want it to snap. So you have to zoom in inside of FL. So you zoom in, right? And if I try to still drag it in, it's still not locking to that bar. What you have to do is hold down Alt, and then you'll be able to scoot it over to that bar, but you need to still zoom in more just to make sure that it's snapping, and that looks good. All right, so now I know that it's snapped to the bar. Change the tempo to 140 so that both the DAWs are playing at the same tempo. And if I play it and I hit the metronome, hit play. All right, so now both of them, so now this one has the correct tempo, and the features that they added on here are really good. I really like the fact that you can use this right here to do the volume gain or take away the volume. This little circle thing here is really smooth. I really like that feature. I like their option for their fades, and the fact that you have this little dot here that you can move up and down. This right here is very, very smooth, very nice. I like that a lot, right? And you can do the same at the end. Curve, however you want to do your curve, which is really cool. And you can even change this to like a single curve so that if you wanted to do just a fast curve, you can do that as well. And you can still kind of change the way it looks as well here. I think that's a really good feature that they added on here inside of FL. So let's go take a look at Reaper. All right, so here's that same file inside of Reaper. In order to change this size on here, I'm gonna hit Alt on the keyboard and it has this little hand icon, and I can pull this over and bring it into the 16 bars. So that way I'll have it the same as the one in FL Studio. And it also has the same beats per minute on here. So if I play it, and you have the metronome going as well on there. And you can hear that it's actually on beat. So in order to do like the volume on here, you can go to this top. This is a default setting, by the way. And you can pull down, but you can't pull up. In order to pull up, you have to use this item volume knob here. And you just pull up on this or pull down on it. And to put this little item on here, you can just do that in your preferences. And that's what the advantage of Reaper is that you can just make things however you want to customize it. So if I wanted to do a fade, I can go from the back here and fade. The difference is it doesn't have that little icon on there like it does inside of FL Studio. So you have to right click on here and choose which one you want it to look like. So if you want to do a curve, or if you wanted it linear, or if you wanted it to have a smooth out. So that will be the difference. So you can do it in the front as well. Same thing, right click on it to change how you want it to actually look or come in. I really like that part about FL, but both of them actually do fades. And what this does that FL doesn't do is if you right click on here and I go to take and I show effects chain, I can add effects directly to the audio. So let's say I want to put halftime on here. So I can add halftime directly to the audio itself. And right here is the little effects for it. So now if I play it, so, and with that, I would have to give this one to Reaper because you can just do so much more with the audio than you can inside of FL Studio. But I really like what they've done with FL Studio. They've added so many great features in there, and I can just see it getting better and better as we go along. But with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel. If you have like any questions, comments, or you want to see even more comparisons, like the piano roll versus the MIDI editor in Reaper, definitely let me know below in the comment section. And I really want to thank you guys for stopping by this channel. Thank you for watching Learning Reaper. Peace. Hey you, yes you. YouTube wants you to watch this video next, man. Go ahead and click it. I'll wait. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not going to keep waiting here. All right, I will see you in the next video though. Peace.